Hello everyone, I'm just filming for a second. I was going to start filming afterwards, but sadly this hasn't worked. My plan to stay in the courtyard and try and defend... You can see he's dying now. My plan to stay in the courtyard and try and defend him that way really was basically a complete failure. Because I'm using a red rock candy, when I'm at the left gate, if I grab someone, I've got quite a distance to run to get to the right gate. And that means that the guys on this gate would then start running away. You can see that's the boss of the second wave. I did okay, but I just didn't kill many of the enemies and stuff. So basically, I've got one more tactic that I'm going to try, and full teams supposedly have an option of running completely out of the keep and getting to the choke point at the north of the map. And they can wait at that choke point and kill the enemies just as they spawn, because they all have to go there, and that's nowhere near Jarlis. Which basically means if I can get up to that choke point and none of these enemies and nothing kills Jarlis while I'm on the way up there, I should be able to do this without a problem. But the only issue is getting up there without any enemies being able to kill Jarlis. I'm gonna have to do some checks to see whether it's possible in a full team. But I think if I siege those guys over there on the west and kill them, and then send the Jade in as well, if I can slip out of the keep before the Jade attack through this gate, because you remember the Jade attacked this gate later than they attacked that other gate. If I can slip out like that, hopefully I can rely on the Jade to defend the keep for as long as possible while I'm away, or you know what I mean, something like that. Anyway, I just wanted to do this quick little video to say what my progress is at the moment, and hopefully that'll be the way I do it, because I can't think of many other ways to do it. So, alright, catch you later. Alright, so here we are. This is a couple of days later again, and I've been checking with the henchmen, and this does seem to work. So this is my 5th attempt at recording a video since I figured out that this works with the henchmen, because at first I thought, yes, this is amazing, this is going to work perfectly, but really it's a lot more risky and a lot harder than that. There are boss spawns that can completely go wrong and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so here I am just activating the bonus. This is my 5th time, I think, something like that. And this is going to send the Jade in from outside the fort. Got all of my consumables up already. Really, I didn't have to do that just yet. Oh yeah, this is me commentating afterwards, as you probably just guessed. Yeah, really I didn't have to put the consumables up, but I did it anyway, because I'm going to have to use 2 sets. This takes me over half an hour, and the consumables only last for half an hour. So there you've got the Jade over there that spawned. They were fighting some Stone Summit that also spawn out there. That's why the Jade at that gate take longer to get through. So now we're out on the field. You can see Jarlis is up there, and we're going to let those bonus Jade do all of the fighting for us inside the keep. What I'm doing here is waiting out, and there's another group of Stone Summit that spawned here, which I need to get away from. You see that structure up there? That is a Massart teleporter. That's where all the Massart are going to be coming from. And I just wanted to show you all that, because we will learn more about that at the end of the mission. But basically, because all of the Massart spawn from there, the White Mantle don't spawn from there, except one group of White Mantle, and the Stone Summit don't spawn from there, but all of the Massart do. And if you remember, the Massart are the ones that I need to watch out for. I need to make sure no Massart get into the keep, because the Massart have Spectral Agony, and they can kill the Jade that are defending Jarlis at the moment. So I need to watch out for that and make sure that no Massart slip past me, because they can destroy my defenders back there. As I'm doing this, the Jade are in the keep, and they're going to be fighting the Stone Summit that are spawning and coming, and the Jade are going to finish off that first wave for me completely. Now I say that, but it turns out they're not actually fighting right now. What actually happens on this mission, I think ArenaNet put it in there because to help people explore outside of the keep. Basically, because I'm nowhere near the keep and I haven't got anyone in my party, or no one's there at the keep, what that means is that the enemies will be running into the keep, and obviously they'll be aggroing each other, because you've got the Jade there that are fighting for me, and there are the Stone Summit, and they'll be in the keep, and they would have aggroed each other, but they don't actually fight each other. The fighting is delayed until I come back to the keep, or until I get near to the keep, and that's so that players can leave the keep straight away if they want. If they want to do this for their cartographer title, walk everywhere and see everything in the world, they can leave the keep and not worry about Jarlis dying. So I'm taking advantage of this time where nothing's fighting at each other in the keep to just finish off these few Jade mobs here, because this is where I'm going to be doing most of my fighting, and I want to make sure that I get rid of all of these Jade before the Messart start to spawn and I might not have time. It's very important that I kill these Jade because they have a skill called Devastating Hammer, which would usually knock me down, but I'm using Doliak's Signet, which means it won't knock me down. But it inflicts weakness on me, and I'm using consumables to raise all of my attributes by +3 so that I have 15 Shadow Arts, and I can maintain Shadow Form at 15 Shadow Arts, but with weakness that drops my attributes by 1, which means I only have 14 Shadow Arts, which means if I'm not very quick when I'm casting Shadow Form later on, they will be able to get very quick spells through to me. And you'll see in the final mob of this encounter, the very last mob, there is a White Mantle Mesmer, I think that's what they're called, or Sarcophagans or something. And the White Mantle Mesmers have a quarter of a second spell which interrupts something I'm using. So basically, if I'm not very quick with Shadow Form, I need to make sure I haven't used anything near it. If I'm not very quick with it, that Mesmer will interrupt my Shadow Form, it will drop, and then I'll get hit with a blast full of spells. So the only way to avoid that from happening is to make sure, as I just did there, I need to kill all of the melee attackers as soon as possible, because then that stops the me from being weakened when that Mesmer arrives. Anyway, so I've killed those, and now I'm coming back to the keep. And you'll see I'm coming on the left, and now you can see that I've triggered all of their spawns and they've started to fight each other. You've got two groups of Messart in there, the Jade Constructs, and two groups of Stone Summit. The Jade are on the left, and the boss of the Stone Summit is on the right, and the other Stone Summit on the left. The reason I ran in on the left a little bit is because I wanted to trigger that left-hand fight slightly quicker, because that would mean that when I trigger the right, because the second the boss from the Stone Summit dies, that triggers the start of the next wave, and I need to make sure most of the other enemies are dead before that boss dies. So the second he dies, Jarlis will call out his first thing, which I read out in another video and I've now forgotten. Oh yeah, he says something like, "Stand fast, the White Mantle have followed you." And when he says that, that will trigger the next wave. Now the next wave comes in two parts. The first part of the next wave is loads of White Mantle humans. As I said just now, the humans don't spawn at that teleporter, they spawn somewhere else. You can see two, well, you might be able to see, the compass is very small. But there's two there you go, I'm looking at them. Those are the first humans that have spawned. And now Messart are going to be spawning at the teleporter down here as well. Now the thing about those humans are, I can't really fight against any of the White Mantle Rangers because they have Savage Shot, which interrupts anything I use. So potentially, if I go up against any White Mantle Rangers, they can interrupt my Shadow Form and kill me. You'll see here I'm fighting without Shadow Form. That's because I realised the only things that I can't survive against without Shadow Form are the Messart Necromancers or too many Elementalists. Anyway, because I can't go up against any Rangers, White Mantle Rangers, I do something a little bit clever there. You'll see I avoided those White Mantle mobs, and that's because two of them have spawned, but it's designed so that until those first two White Mantle die, no more are going to spawn. So basically, because I've ignored them, they've ran to the keep, but because I'm not at the keep, they're not going to fight anything at the keep. And because they're not going to die, no other White Mantle are going to spawn. So basically, I've just avoided half of this second wave. I don't have to fight any White Mantle at all. I'm just dealing with the Messart, which are coming from the teleporter over here. Now here you can see I'm walking towards the Elementalist. That's because I know that if I kill the Elementalist, I can safely have Shadow Form down for as long as possible. Basically, I learned a lot of stuff of what I can and can't do here. And when he's dead, I can drop Shadow Form and I'll get extra damage against these Jade. And I'll be able to kill them quicker. As I just said, my priority with doing this is to kill the people who can inflict weakness on me as much as possible. It's quite dangerous leaving too many Messart Elementalists alive because their elite skill is called Thunderclap. And that inflicts daze on me. And if there's too many Elementalists fighting me, That means daze is never going to go off of me, and if I'm always dazed, that means whatever I try to do will be interrupted. Whatever spell I try to use will be interrupted, and I will die when I can't cast Shadow Form. So that's most of it. I'm going to start super speeding it now. I should have super speeded it all the way, to be honest, but I didn't. So actually, I might be able to work this out. Give me a sec. No, I couldn't work it out because I was just gonna try and super speed it all and then sort of fit everything I'd just said into it, but I'd referenced stuff that I'd seen on the screen, so it wouldn't have really worked. Okay, so here's the first boss. This is one of the really risky parts, where basically I'm relying on luck. Certain bosses, if the boss that spawns is a spellcaster, it will also spawn with a monk, a Masat monk, and the monks are very hard to kill on their own. I can do it, but that's a risky spawn. And even worse, if the Masat monk boss spawns, then that's it. It's game over. I have to do it all the way from the start again, because I just do not have enough firepower to take out a monk boss and a regular monk at the same time. And the Masat monks are actually quite strong. So that was my downfall on one of these occasions. This time we only had the Ranger, who's, I didn't realise this was the first time I came up against a Ranger. There's 6 potential bosses you can have, and this was the first time I had him. And I was wondering, why isn't this Jade dying? Why isn't he dying? You see, I've been beating him for ages, and it's because that Ranger is using Healing Spring. And every time I targeted him to check if he was doing it, I couldn't see. But eventually I just decided to go away and watch him for a while, and then I realised he did. And then, of course, because that's a trap, I can interrupt it easily while I'm attacking him, and I can kill him. Regardless, this still took me a lot longer than it should have. But yeah, that's definitely a bit where I'm relying on luck. And every time I lost after beating this bit, it just made me feel horrible, because I was just so devastated, because every time I'm relying on luck that the Stone Summit don't slip through and kill Jarlis, and that I get a good monk boss here, and the Stone Summit monk boss as well. Oh, it's crazy. Anyway, this is the end of the second wave, and when we kill them, Jarlis says something like, be aware, the left hand of Grenth himself comes for us. And that triggers the next wave, and this final wave in some ways is easier, and in some ways is harder. It's easier because this wave, every single thing that spawns will come out of that teleporter. There's nothing that is going to spawn out in the field, so I can easily catch everything. Except for the last wave, there's no White Mantle to fight, which is cool. I mean, except for the very last part of this last wave, there's nothing to fight but White Mantle wise, and none of those White Mantle are Rangers. At least I've never seen them being a Ranger, which means I don't have to worry about being interrupted, except for, as I said before, that White Mantle Mesmer. So, I mean, you can see how long this takes. I never did /age here, but you saw, how long did it take me to get here before? Like about an hour to get to the keep. I'm a little bit faster right now, or was it an hour and a half? Anyway, and now you've probably watched about another. I know this was definitely half an hour, because I refreshed my consumables in a minute. So you'll remember that I said that I had to focus on fighting the warriors. I didn't learn that until this attempt. I hadn't been counting on weakness until this attempt, so watch the way I prioritise my targets now. You'll see that I don't fight the warriors very, very often. And in fact I get very close to that teleporter as well, which isn't necessarily a very good thing. Now, one theory I did have was to avoid this last group of White Mantle altogether, just try and tank the Masat elsewhere. You can see I'm running back there to get them all a little bit closer, and then hopefully I could have let the Jade that are in the keep finish them off, because there are actually 2 monks in the final group. And one of them's a monk boss. Now, he's not a very strong monk boss, but he's someone we've met before. And he comes with a monk ally as well. And I mean, monks just break this game so much. I'm sorry, I know I'm trying this solo, so it doesn't really count. But you know, anywhere I go in this game with monks, it's just everything's balanced around monks. And especially in PvP, it's horrible. That's why I'm so happy that GuildWars 2's taken them out. But yeah, so there's going to be 2 monks to fight in a minute, and I know that those Jade and the Keep can finish them off very quickly, but it's just a little bit risky going into the Keep with that final wave. Anyway, I'm sure that they're about to spawn. And then when they do... Actually, you're not going to be able to read the name of the boss anyway, are you? Okay, the boss is Confessor Dorian, basically the leader of the White Mantle. After we wipe out so many he obviously gets annoyed and desperately wants to take us out, and he is going to come for us, and he's going to try and kill us, along with his friends. Is that them there? Yes, they've just spawned, and they'll be running at me in a minute. So, now watch this. This is the last Jade Hammer. He put weakness on me a split second before I cast Shadow Form. Could you see that there? He was the last warrior, and he got that weakness on me with perfect timing. So that means that I just cast Shadow Form with -1 attribute points, which means that there's going to be about a second after it recharges where it's going to drop. And now that Mesmer's against me, which means that he can cast a spell through. I use Cyclone Axe too early and it's interrupted. Did you see that? And I get owned. Words cannot describe how annoying it is to have that happen. That's the third time I've died about there. And then they go and kill Jarlis. So I'll see you guys again. I'm going to start recording from here and catch you later. Damn. God damn it.